Touching these bricks is like crazy to me right now.
Touching other people's memories,
right?
other people's experiences is insane.
Them hoping and praying to save themselves. Crazy. Hi everybody, my name is Aicha Smith-Belghaba. I'm a Mohawk Turtle Clan from Six Nations. I'm also a chef, a motivational speaker, and educator. We're here today at the Woodland Cultural Centre, and I'm with my friend Logan.
Hello.
We're doing a video on the importance of Indigenous study courses in high schools and the importance of it and why it should be mandatory.
Hi, I'm Logan. I go to college. I have secondary school in Woodstock. I have Indigenous culture, but I'm not 100% sure on what it is. My dad doesn't really even know, but I took an Indigenous studies course, and I've been taking it for 3 years now, and I was a peer leader in it, so it's one of my favorite courses.
When you educate, it fosters relationships and understanding of the real history and the people that you live with in this country as a Canadian.
I definitely agree with that. I feel like Indigenous culture and issues and things like that aren't fully talked about or talked about near enough at all. I didn't even know that it was a thing or didn't know anything about it. It was hidden from kind of the rest of
the world,
the rest of the world, knowing about Indigenous issues and residential schools and problems and the things that they faced and the lives that they had, and like it just wasn't a thing. And then after I took it, I fell in love with it and really wanted to know a lot more about it.
Your perception before you took the class? Did you know anything about Indigenous peoples, or did you just know that like we were here and that was that?
Yeah, I knew that you guys were here. I didn't think it was anything near as severe as how bad it was, or how bad it can get, or could get. No, I just knew that you guys like were people.
Just here, that's it, So, like I was saying, that's another important thing is we're more than just people who are just here. There's a huge history, and like we're standing right here with a part of the history. We're at the back of an actual residential school that closed in the 70s. And on these bricks here, we have names of kids that were in the schools. So the depth of that situation is way more than a name on a brick. It's really like these kids were ripped away from their families. And the intention of residential schools was to take the Indian out of the child, to make us more acceptable into non-Indigenous society, basically. Because what we were naturally was, savagery. So that's not really what it is. And obviously Logan knows that now because he has his class. It's just so important to educate everybody about these things. So Logan, what was one of the things that stuck in your mind the most about the course that you took?
The severity of the Indigenous issues.
Okay, such as?
Residential schools, missing murdered Indigenous women. I didn't know anything about either of those two topics before I even came into the course at all. I didn't know they were a thing. I kind of heard maybe off somebody,
little glimpses of things
but
here and
I
there.
never knew anything about any of the problems and the issues and how bad things got. And, But these are one of the most things that's like, if I can think about all of the field trips that we went on and all the places we saw, this would be the one that sticks out the most.
And why does it stick out the most to you?
It's really heavy. It's really sad too.
Can you imagine yourself as a child being ripped from your family and then put into an institution and everything you knew, loved was stripped, basically?
It's not even a thought that I've had. Like when I first came here before, I thought about that. I was like, how would I be if the same thing happened to me and I got taken from my family and put into another school, and everything that I thought was right about my life gets told that I'm wrong, and gets my hair cut, and gets my I wasn't allowed to speak how I spoke, like my language that I spoke, and I got killed for it or beaten for it or told I was wrong or looked at differently.
Absolutely.
It's insane. I can't imagine my life like that.
So do you think that this course gave you a new understanding and perspective about Indigenous peoples, and if so, how?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like this course really changed me in my life. When I first started, I wasn't the best kid out there. I was not at all. But after I took it the first time, I fell in love with it and the things that I learned and the places that we went. And I don't know, I like experiencing new things, and I like seeing new things and knowing about new things that I should have known from before.
Right. Why do you think that courses like these aren't mandatory?
I really don't know. I don't know why they wouldn't be mandatory, other than the fact that people don't want other children to know about it.
Right.
Like, that'd be the only thing. But it should be mandatory. This class should be, at least you take it once.
Right.
Because I know from personal experience and from getting other people into the course, I've gotten 3 or 4 people into the course, and they fell in love with the course.
Right.
That as soon as someone takes it once, they're gonna love it. Well, if they're open-minded enough to.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
That's how I was.
You heard it here, folks. It needs to be mandatory. The education needs to be mandatory. Why is it not? Question mark. I'm gonna tell you something. So even myself as an individual, like as a younger Indigenous woman, I truly never thought that I was affected by colonization, by residential schools, by any of those things until maybe about 3-4 years ago, because I realized how much I didn't know. I didn't grow up with the language. I didn't grow up going to Longhouse. I didn't grow up having Indian clothes made for me every year as I grew as a child, because I didn't go to Longhouse. Why? Why didn't I know the language? Why do I still not know the language? And those are the direct connections to the school. That's what its intention was, to take the Indian out of the child, to rip all of those things out of people, to make them fear teaching their children the language, to make them fear their foods, their everything, their way of life. And I can see that within myself, how that has affected me. I may not have been here, but I am a direct result of what happened to those people that were. People think, okay, the schools are closed, everything's great, everything's fine. It's not happening anymore. But that's not the case, because now you have generations like myself who are so truly disconnected, and that was the whole intention. So the government got what they wanted, but at the end of the day, we're still here, we're still fighting, we're still educating, we're still learning. And to spread that and just be humble about it and say that, you know what, I don't know either. I don't know some of these things either, but we can learn together. It's all about coming back together. And honestly, we're all people at the end of the day, and we just need to be humble. We need to be accepting. We need to hear what the other story is before you have your own perceptions, before you put those truths that you think are truth onto other people. We're going to take a moment of silence to remember and never forget those who came to residential schools and those who never came home.